Now, usually I'm telling you all the right reasons to move here, all the reasons that people are coming here in droves, our coastal lifestyle, our friendly neighbors, our expanding communities, all the great reasons that you should be here. But guess what? I'm going to tell you today 5 reasons why you may think twice about moving to Wilmington, North Carolina. 5 reasons that maybe you should not move to Wilmington. So let's get started. Let's talk about reason number 1, hurricanes. We don't get them all the time, but we get them often enough. Wilmington lies on the southeastern coast of North Carolina, and because of that, hurricanes come up the coast and many times land right in Wilmington. So many years we might get a tropical storm, we might get a tropical depression, and sometimes those become hurricanes. But sometimes the hurricanes break apart and they just become storms, or they move out and about. But the reality is hurricanes are a big deal in Wilmington. It's something that you want to be prepared for. So that might mean having a whole house generator, flood insurance, an evacuation plan. It might mean that you're leaving town in the case that we're having maybe like a category 4 or category 5 coming into town. You might have tornado warnings at night. So it's definitely a real risk. And if you live in a landlocked area, it might not be something you've ever even experienced. So one thing I've learned is that every place in the world has something, whether it's cold or snow or hurricanes or earthquakes or tornadoes. Every place has something that can eventually affect it, and something that the community has to learn to work with. But hurricanes is our problem to bear. So it's definitely something you want to consider before you make that move to Wilmington. Although I will say that I feel like our area has definitely become more and more prepared over the years. As technology advances and we can look at weather models and see where the hurricane's going to land and where it's headed and all these things, it really helps us as a community to not only prepare for the storm, but to be more well equipped for any sort of work you have to do afterwards. And in a kind of a weird way, it's always a little beautiful to see how people do come together and support one another once the storm is past. So once again, being a hurricane, it's not necessarily the worst thing, because it can be a 1 or 2, or it can come on shore as one size and then break apart. But the reality is it's something you will have to deal with at some point while you live in Wilmington. Reason number 2, industry. Now, I don't want to be negative, but Wilmington doesn't have a lot of industry. We have some big companies in town, like Corning, Encino, Duke Energy. I mean, there is real possibility here. You can be in real estate, you could be working in the medical community, in tourism. But the reality is that we have a lot of service industry jobs in Wilmington. And with tourism means that it can be very seasonal. So if you're looking for a job in finance or tech or manufacturing, you're not going to find that in Wilmington like you will in bigger cities. You won't find the competition and the job openings. Now, if you can work remotely, like a lot of people are doing now, then you may just be perfectly fine. And that's really what we've seen post-pandemic. People just really flocking to Wilmington because they found out that they can work from anywhere, and now they can live in this incredible place without having to go into the office every day. And even if you do have to fly somewhere once a week or whatever, we have a great little airport, international airport albeit, and we have a lot of great spots that we're going to now. So it's not impossible, but it's definitely a limiting factor. It's something you want to consider before you move to the area, and something you want to think about before you decide to come to Wilmington. Reason number 3 you may not want to move to Wilmington is affordability. Now, talking about prices is somewhat relative, because if you're coming from a New York or Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, you may find that Wilmington is actually pretty affordable. But that is actually the problem, because as people come here from those larger cities and from up north where taxes are higher and prices are higher, then they begin to flux into Wilmington. And as we continue to grow, our prices continue to go up because we have people that are coming here that can afford to pay the higher prices. So while it's a good thing in one aspect, it can also be an issue in another. With higher prices comes higher cost of living and higher home prices. So Wilmington right now is experiencing somewhat of I don't want to say a housing crisis, but we are seeing more and more that as inventory becomes less and prices begin to climb, then it's becoming harder and harder for first-time home buyers and maybe local people to be able to buy their first home, or to be able to buy their second or their forever home. So it's not all doomsday. There are plenty of possibilities, and I'm going to tell you some of those in another video. But the reality is that if you're looking for the most affordable place to live and a place that is ready for that type of growth and to be able to scale it in a way that keeps it affordable, Wilmington might not be your #1 choice. Speaking of affordability, if you are looking to purchase your first home, your next home, a second home, a vacation home, contact us below and I'll be happy to help you with your home search. Reason number 4 you may decide not to move to Wilmington, North Carolina is that we don't have big city amenities. Now, I'm kind of torn on this because we do have a lot of amenities, a lot of major reasons that people decide to move here. Between the university, a booming community college, some mid to large size businesses that are up and coming, especially in the tech industry. However, we can't compete with big cities. We don't have a National Football League, we don't have Major League Baseball or ice hockey like some cities can offer. We do have plenty of opportunities to have a good time at night and indie theater programs. We have Broadway shows that come around. We have a new concert venue right here on the river, but we don't have all the amenities and the traffic flow and the transportation that larger cities have. We have a bus system, although it can be limited. We have a nice way to get around town in that sense, but we don't have trains and we don't have all the other amenities that you find in larger cities. Of course, we don't have any sort of subway or anything like that. To some people, that's a plus, but to some people, that's a major drawback when they're thinking about a place that they may want to end up either with a family or as a young couple or a retired couple. So in that sense, Wilmington is a little more sleepy, and some people are okay with that coastal vibe. And some people decide to even fly out of here and go to larger cities and make big trips. We have flights to New York and to Boston and Philadelphia, just to name a few, even Miami. So it's not hard to beat living in Wilmington, but it's something that you want to consider. So maybe think about those issues before you decide to move to Wilmington, North Carolina. Last but not least, we come to reason number 5. You may decide that you do not want to move to Wilmington, North Carolina, and that is tourism. That may sound a little rude because, of course, we really welcome our local tourists. They are a huge benefit to our economy, and you have the great opportunity to offer services and have attractions that we otherwise wouldn't be able to offer if we didn't have tourism. So, of course, any city that is smart economically is going to welcome some degree of tourism. But, of course, with that comes some drawbacks. So if you want to go to Wrightsville Beach in the summer, you might be waiting for a parking space for a while. If you go to some of the outlying beaches, it might not be as bad. However, if you decide you want to go downtown, you might be circling the blocks a few times, going to a parking garage, just so you can go get on the wait list for a place to eat. However, I don't want to overstate the fact that tourism is really good for Wilmington in a few aspects. I'm able to meet people in the summer all day, every day, from different states, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Massachusetts. I'm constantly meeting people from other places. And that's a huge benefit to us because it brings a different vibe to the city. It introduces Wilmington to people that maybe have never thought of it before. So I'm not going to say that it's a terrible reason, but it's definitely something you want to be considering when you're thinking about moving to Wilmington, North Carolina. However, I just want to press the point that while it does kind of make it a little cumbersome at times, especially when it comes to things like traffic and finding parking spaces and what have you, it's not the end of the world, but it is something to think about before you make that move. If you're thinking about making the move to Wilmington, North Carolina, contact us below and we'll be more than happy to help you with your home search. And don't forget to like and subscribe or send to a friend if you think they are also thinking about making the move. Until next time, this is Kevin with Living in Wilmington. See you soon.